You have very little information, but they trust that gut feeling on this because their friend recommended it. They read the article. They think this is going to happen. This happened to me when I was in university, when I knew nothing about stocks at all. And I read that retail stocks go up at Christmas. And I was very excited to go and buy Walmart stock. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great day. After a couple of gray days, the sun has come out, which is really amazing. Hope you're really working on your goals and getting ahead. Let's do some reading to motivate you. I have Rich Dad Poor Dad in Chinese, which is the book that I wanted to read to you from the very beginning. I'm learning Chinese, but you might not be, and you might not speak Chinese, nor have the wish to speak Chinese. So we are reading The Art of Thinking Clearly, which everybody has been loving a lot so far. So it has been great. Hello to everybody that's joining and saying hello on BIGO. It is great having you all. Thank you for joining. So we're going to get into the reading. If my phone will let me press a button. My phone's a bit slow this morning. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Good morning, Sally and everybody else. That phone is just not wanting to be fast today. Okay, hopefully you can hear me well. Let's get into the reading, get you motivated, and hopefully there's something in this chapter that is going to assist you today as well. So today's chapter 80, the difference between risk and uncertainty, the ambiguity aversion. Here we go. Two boxes. Box A contains 100 balls, 50 red and 50 black. Box B also holds 100 balls, but you don't know how many are red and how many black. If you reach into one of the boxes without looking and draw out a red ball, you win $100. Which box will you choose, A or B? The majority will opt for A. Let's play again using exactly the same boxes. This time you win $100 if you draw out a black ball. Which will you go for now? Most likely you'll choose A again, but that's illogical. In the first round, you assume that B contained fewer red balls and more black balls. So rationally, you would have to opt for B this time around. That's an interesting thought. Don't worry, you're not alone in this error. Quite the opposite. This result is known as the Ellsberg Paradox, named after Daniel Ellsberg, a former Harvard psychologist. As a side note, he later leaked the top secret Pentagon papers to the press, leading to the downfall of President Nixon. The Ellsberg Paradox offers empirical proof that we favor known probabilities, box A, over unknown ones, box B. That is very true, isn't it? So the more information we have about something, so this is why Facebook is so interesting, because we have information based on what information Facebook is giving us, because it will filter things that we don't like and leave them out and give us more of the things that we like and that we agree with. And so we get more of a biased view than if we did it the other way around. Interesting, huh? Thus, we come to the topics of risk and uncertainty, or ambiguity, and the difference between them. Risk means that the probabilities are known. Uncertainty means that the probabilities are unknown. On the basis of risk, you can decide whether or not to take a gamble, and Love is to join on the Zoom, and I didn't notice because I'm just so into the reading. So uncertainty means that the probabilities are unknown. On the basis of risk, you can decide whether or not to take a gamble. In the realm of uncertainty, though, it's much harder to make decisions. The terms risk and uncertainty are as frequently mixed up as cappuccino and latte macchiato, with much graver consequences. You can make calculations with risk, but not with uncertainty. The 300-year-old science of risk is called statistics. A host of professors dealing with it, but not a single textbook exists on the subject of uncertainty. Because of this, we try to squeeze ambiguity into risk categories, but it doesn't really fit. Let's look at two examples, one from medicine, where it works, and one from the economy, where it does not. So, very quickly, when it comes to the stock market, this is where this chapter is extremely interesting, because a lot of people will go out and they will take their friends' recommendations, they will read something in the newspaper, and they will go out and invest based on that. Now, that is quite risky, and there's very little information you have around the company that you're investing in, the investment itself, etc., etc. You have very little information, but they trust that gut feeling on this because their friend recommended it, they read the article, they think this is going to happen. This happened to me when I was in university, when I knew nothing about stocks at all. And I read that retail stocks go up at Christmas. And I was very excited to go and buy Walmart stock. But Walmart was not doing very well at the time. They had a bit of an internal crisis, and the stock went down to my surprise. And I had not taken any time to do any research or get myself any information. Extremely risky. So it's important to make sure that you get as much information as you can and you learn as much about the company before you invest, so that you actually have some information that you can deal with. But don't be blind to the fact that there might also be other information that you are missing, that you don't know about, in order to be able to make that decision either. So a book that I would highly recommend is this one here. It's called Innumeracy by John Allen Polos. And it talks about mathematical illiteracy and its consequences, and why, as humans, we are so bad at mathematics and we do not understand basic principles that can save our life, help us make more money, and help us not look like fools in front of other people, even though most people are extremely mathematically illiterate. Extremely good book. I would highly recommend it. Let's continue now that we've had a talk about doing things without any information at all, getting some information, but still being open to the fact that you might only have biased information or may not have access to all of the information you need to be able to make a perfect choice, but at least you have some information to make an informed choice so that you reduce your risk. There are billions of humans on Earth. Our bodies do not differ dramatically. We don't even differ that much in DNA from a banana or a monkey or many other different things. We all reach a similar height. No one will ever be 100 feet tall, and a similar age. No one will live for 10,000 years or for only a millisecond. Most of us have 2 eyes, 4 heart valves, 32 teeth. Another species would consider us to be homogeneous, as similar to each other as we consider mice to be. For this reason, there are many similar diseases, and it makes sense to say, for example, there's a 30% risk you will die of cancer. On the other hand, the following assertion is meaningless. There's a 30% chance that the euro will collapse in the next 5 years. Why? The economy resides in the realm of uncertainty. There are not billions of comparable currencies from whose history we can derive probabilities, such as humans. The difference between risk and uncertainty also illustrates the difference between life insurance and credit default swaps. A credit default swap is an insurance policy against specific defaults, a particular company's inability to pay. In the first case, life insurance, we are in the calculable domain of risk, and insurance companies are so good at this that they can almost use computer algorithms in order to be able to tell almost to the closest $100 how much they will have to pay out on you and how much they will charge you in premiums, so that they can actually calculate their profits, as opposed to hope for the best and hope that they don't have to end up paying you out more. But their computer algorithms are so powerful, and the input data is so great, and what the computer can do with that data is so great that they can literally tell what kinds of claims you're going to be making and get close to $100 plus or minus with regards to how much they're going to be making from it. It is unbelievable. In the second credit default swap, we were dealing with uncertainty. This confusion contributed to the chaos of the financial crisis in 2008. If you hear phrases such as the risk of hyperinflation is X% or the risk to our equity position is Y, start worrying. So there are so many more moving parts to your credit default swap. There are so many more moving parts to the stock market, and there are so many people dealing with it, and there are so many people who are making decisions and buying or selling or doing all of these different things, that it becomes much more uncertain than the insurance question, even though that's also uncertain, but it has a degree of certainty compared to the other. So it is extremely important to realize that that is the case, and then, yeah, we can twist our head around it a little bit better, rather than just jumping in blindly. To avoid hasty judgment, you must learn to tolerate ambiguity. This is a difficult task, and one that you cannot influence actively. Your amygdala, which is a part of your brain, plays a crucial role. This is a nut-sized area in the middle of the brain responsible for processing memory and emotions. Depending on how it is built, you will tolerate uncertainty with greater ease or difficulty. And some of us, we tolerate risk very easily, and others will stay away from it completely. And follow that instinct, because if you are risk averse, but you are buying risky stocks, you will not sleep at night. If you are not risk averse, if you are okay with risk and you buy something which is a little bit more risky, then you are okay, because you'll probably still be able to sleep at night. So depending on how it's built, you will tolerate uncertainty with greater ease or difficulty. This is evident not least in your political orientation. The more averse you are to uncertainty, the more conservatively you will vote. Your political views have a partial biological underpinning. Not sure if that is still the case right now, because politics has left the realms of its usual places, and it's gone to completely different areas, and it's changed completely. So it'd be interesting to see whether that's still correct or not. Either way, whoever hopes to think clearly must understand the difference between risk and uncertainty. Only in very few areas can we count on clear probabilities. Casinos, coin tosses, and probability textbooks. Often we are left with troublesome ambiguity. Learn to take it in stride. Okay, so that was, especially for the investors among you, a very important chapter. Some things we have no information, some things we have some information, but even then we need to recognize that we might be able to get even more information from a different source. We are bombarded with information that is similar based on the fact that the Facebook algorithm will give us more of what we like and remove all those things that we don't like. So we need to keep that in mind, and maybe also get information from the other side. Charles Darwin used to talk about the fact that we are going to be selective. If we already believe something, we will only look at that information. So when I do a Google search, I will look at articles that I feel like opening, but I'll also read and look at articles that I don't agree with to get that balance and that counterbalance. And I will see whether I can persuade myself that the other side is correct, and I will be devil's advocate and actually see if I can make an argument for it. So it is a fascinating way to train the brain and also be able to see more and have more control over what you're doing. And this is really important on the stock market. Don't just use the information that you have, such as friends telling you that it's a great company. Do your own research as well. Don't just look at research that's going to show you that what your friend said is correct, because if you do that, then you're still just following your friend and using the information that you have to just corroborate the story that they're telling you. Also look at the opposite. See if there's anybody that's saying that there is something not so good about the company. Try and see if you can find whether there is somebody cooking the books, if you understand how to analyze the numbers and actually understand the bookkeeping. And on that note, one way to do that is if you join us at our online cash flow simulator nights on Tuesday nights. If you are interested, then get in touch and we can tell you a little bit more about that, because that is an integral part of being able to invest in companies successfully. If you understand the numbers, if you understand what's going on, I actually just did a video series for the cash flowers, because I'm getting them to analyze some companies and showing them how they can do that and where they can get the information from. So if that'd be interesting to you, let me know. So to do that, one, you can watch the replays at YouTube, which is the Passive Cashflow Club. And we'd love to have you come and watch some of the other commentaries and readings that I have done in this book. There are also some other videos that we're going to be putting up there, including that video that I sent to the cash flows with regards to how to analyze companies. And we're going to do one for real estate as well. Feel free to leave a comment there. I always love getting everybody else's opinions and your thoughts, and I love a bit of healthy debate. If you'd like more information and want to get in touch directly, you can go to Instagram as well, see what I'm up to and see what other things that I do. And you can also message me directly, and I love hearing from everybody there. And you can find me there at business_team_the number 6_official. And I would love to be friends with you and see what you're up to as well. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow for chapter 81, why you should go with the status quo. This one's called the default effect. So I'm looking forward to seeing you for that. Sydney time, 8 a.m., whatever time that is in your time zone. Thank you to everybody that joined. There's lots of people who've been commenting and leaving different other thoughts on the page today. So I want to say thank you for that. There's a couple of smiley faces and different other things. And I'm glad that everybody is enjoying so much. A couple of people sent a few things, so appreciate that. So yes, would love to see you on the YouTube if you have a chance, or on Instagram. I'm looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Thanks as always for joining. Have an amazing day today, and I'll see you all tomorrow.